The Oilers walk away with the Game 1 W, baby, against the Canucks in an amazing comeback victory where we get to see McDavid get 700 career points, and not just that, a fucking hattie to add to that, baby. Hoo-wee, what a game we had there last night, ladies and gentlemen. It was a party up in a Rogers place, and wow, what a game we had last night. We got to see the debut of Jack Campbell, who had kind of a rough start to begin the game off, but absolutely locked in for the rest of the game. We took a lot of dumb penalties, but we did really well on our own power play and did pretty good on the PK, so there was a lot of good signs. But there was a lot of negatives that we're going to be having to talk about in this game because, quite honestly, the Oilers got off to a really rough start, but finished the game quite strong. We struggled again on our 5-on-5. Our 5-on-5 was absolutely dreadful throughout this game last night, and definitely something we definitely need to work on. And staying out of the box. Darnell Nurse took an absolute moronic penalty that put us into a pretty bad situation, and honestly, we took like 8 penalties last night. A lot of them were kind of weak. A lot of them was like, okay, this shouldn't be a call, but a lot of them was definitely deserved, whether it was a trip or, you know, interference penalty by Darnell Nurse. There was a lot of weak ones, but there was a lot of ones that, hey, we got to start being a lot more disciplined, and we got to stop, you know, getting into the box. So let's start getting into the goal scoring of this game between the Oilers and the Canucks. And the very first goal was scored by Pettersson, who got his first goal of the season. And this was a bad turnover by Dylan Holloway, who, you know, didn't play a whole lot last night. And Holloway just had a very, very rough night for the Edmonton Oilers. I was really excited to see him in the lineup, and he ended up really not doing very much throughout the night. He had that one turnover, and he really didn't play a whole lot throughout the rest of the game. He just didn't look too great. He got a few good offensive opportunities, but not really anything big time. He did play not bad defensively, but he just looked like he just wasn't in the right spot at the right time. Especially that pass where he just gave it right to Pettersson, and Pettersson was able to bury in the back of the net, who made a very good move going right behind Jack Campbell, able to kind of squeak it through him. He made a really good move, and, you know, you can't be making that type of pass. Holloway got to know that, you know, he's going to be going up against NHLers. It's not not preseason or the AHL anymore where you can make those types of passes unless you really are quick about it. You can make that type of pass, but, you know, you're going up against Pettersson and Miller, some of the better defensive guys in the league, and you cannot be making a pass like that where it's going to be ended up being turned over. So I think that's definitely something that we got to clean up. And our 5-on-5 breakouts were definitely rough throughout tonight. We definitely didn't make very good breakouts throughout the night, so that's definitely something that we got to clean up on. JT Miller then scores one. This was a kind of a mess up by Cody Ceci. He didn't play very well defensively on this one. It was basically like a 3-on-1, but then Draisaitl and Nurse got back into the play. Nurse was covering his man, so instead of Ceci trying to go after his man, and someone should have told him, either the goalie or Nurse should have been yelling at him, hey, I got the man on the cross seam, you cover Miller, cover Miller. But Ceci decided to put his stick down to block the lane. Miller fully just, he was like, okay, I'm just going to commit fully to this shot, and just sent a bullet above Jack Campbell and right into the back of the net to put up the Canucks 2-0. Now, what Miller or what Ceci should have done is he should have taken the body of Ceci and pressured him a little bit more and not just worry about that cross-seam pass, because it looked like Miller was just going to shoot the full time, especially with Nurse covering his man. So Ceci should have went after his man and JT Miller and block him off before he was able to take that shot off. He was just giving him way too much time. I know we, you know, as defensemen usually block the middle of the seam, but since your man had him already, it would have been smart to go after JT Miller. And then, of course, Darnell Nurse takes the most moronic penalty in the world, going after a late hit on Kyle Burroughs right after the whistle for no apparent reason, but for frustration. And I think this is a big thing, too. Like, Darnell Nurse is our top pairing defenseman, and he has to stay disciplined in these types of games. He can't be stupid, getting into fights, or even, you know, taking a bad penalty like that, because we need him. He's our top pairing defenseman, and, you know, we don't have a lot of other defensemen that can back him up. So I think definitely Darnell Nurse needs to clean that up. He cannot be taking stupid penalties that could cost us, you know, the game, which it almost did. Andrei Kuzmenko scored a goal on the power play to start off the second period on the power play on the penalty that Nurse took, which was not very beautiful. Now, also in the note, I did put some money on this game after the Oilers went down, just because I was like, you know what, screw it. The Oilers are down. Maybe this team will make a comeback, and holy crow, was I ever right. I was so happy that I put a bet on this team making a comeback because they made my day so much better. But after that, the Oilers, well, they started kicking in another gear. Even then, like, to end off the first period, we did make a comeback, and we did play good throughout the second half of the first period. And then we kind of stopped, working. The 5-on-5, work of the Vancouver Canucks just really overworked us without a doubt throughout most of the game. I do give it to that. Vancouver Canucks most likely deserve to win this game more than the Edmonton Oilers. We dominated on the power play, and our shorthanded, our PK did really well throughout the night. So that was the biggest thing of the reason why we won this game. And Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and Jack Campbell, who just stood tall for the rest of the game. Like, Jack Campbell absolutely made the saves that he needed to make, making the 36 out of the 37 shots that he's seen throughout the night. He played absolutely massive for the Edmonton Oilers and made some really good saves, and he looked really good in the net. His glove looked amazing. He was in the right spots. He made some really good saves. The only bad part, like, the only reason why we scored those 3 goals was just because bad defensive plays. We didn't play very well defensively, so that's definitely something that we got to work on massively. And I thought we were going to maybe pick up a better defenseman coming into this upcoming season, but we didn't, so we kind of have to deal with what we got. But we definitely didn't play very well defensively throughout the night. So let's get on to the Oilers goals here. Leon Draisaitl starts it up with a beautiful one-time pass by McDavid, sending him up. And he throws that one right into the back of the net to get his first of the season, to get it all started. And then runs again on the power play as Draisaitl sets up McDavid this time around on the power play for a nice shot. And this was a beautiful tic-tac-toe play. Hyman kind of on the dash mark, sends up Draisaitl, and then right over quickly over to McDavid, and he throws that one right in the back of the net. And in a beautiful shorthanded opportunity, the Oilers caused a turnover. Draisaitl dashed up. Nurse was just trailing in and took a beautiful one-time pass and right in the back of the net. And, these types of plays can definitely work out in our benefit without a doubt, these types of plays. But we also seen it tonight where it definitely can backfire on us, where CC tried to step up, trying to create some offense, even though it almost backfired and gave a 3-on-1 on a power play opportunity to the Vancouver Canucks. So we definitely got to be careful with these shorthanded opportunities and knowing when to step up and when to not. And CC stepped up at the time that it was not good to step up at, because there wasn't a whole lot of offensive opportunities being generated. And don't step up when we don't have an opportunity on the shorthanded play, because if we don't, it could cost us immensely, especially if we're going to be going up against an offensive team like the Vancouver Canucks this upcoming season. We got to be careful on our PK of not, overstepping and trying to create too much offense. I think that's a big thing we got to be beware about. And then in the third period, McDavid capped off the Hattie. McDavid got a beautiful goal. They dashed on in. Hyman had a handle of it. Got it off to McDavid, and he took one shot. Demko made the save, but he did not make the second one, as McDavid just kept on going with the puck, and then he buried the second one right in the back of the net to give the Oilers a 4-3 lead. And then Kane sent a McDavid for the Hattie, and that was for Mr. Ben Stelter, who I'm going to give a personal shout-out to as well. McDavid, at the end of the game, he was talking about how this was for Ben, and everything tonight was for Ben. Getting 700 points was all for Ben, and honestly, that is absolutely amazing. Ben Stelter, if you guys don't know, unfortunately passed away from cancer this past offseason, who was one of the big guys for the Edmonton Oilers this past season. He was at a good bulk of the games and was a big heart for the team as well. So, absolutely rest in peace to the absolute legend. I wanted to kind of talk about that because this game was honestly for Ben tonight. There was a huge ceremony for Ben, and it was great to see that. It almost made me tear up watching the ceremony before the game. It was absolutely amazing, and rest in peace to the legend, Ben Stelter, and I hope the family is doing all right as well. But this was an amazing game to send it off for Ben. Connor McDavid getting 700 points. That is just absolutely incredible. There's another stat that I would like to pull up as well that is just absolutely incredible for Connor McDavid, because he scored another Hattie in an opening night, and that is crazy. That McDavid joins Cam Neely and Brendan Shanahan as the only players in the NHL history with multiple hat tricks in season opener. That is absolutely just terrific. Multiple season openers, and McDavid has scored a hat trick at almost every single one of them. I think it's 4 out of the 6. McDavid has scored a Hattie. That is just absolutely incredible. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and talk about all the players and everything like that. Now, the lineups were a lot mixed because we only have 17 skaters throughout the night. Now, basically, we only played a few because Holloway, Malone, and Shore did not play very much. They were all underneath 10 minutes, and Malone only played like 446. So there wasn't even really a big reason to have that fourth line tonight. We only had like 3 lines tonight. So let's get into the lineups and talk a little bit about Hyman, Nuge, and Puljujärvi. They only played a little bit of minutes, but they looked really good. I was really well impressed with that line. I thought they played really, really well. Now, I guess I'm not really going to talk about lineups. I'll talk about a few players. Derek Ryan, I really liked this game. He was running and gunning, played really well defensively, and generated a lot. I mean, he didn't generate a lot of offense, but played really well in his own end, and played really well in the PK as well. Ryan McLeod, I thought, had a really good night. Played, once again, really well in his own defensive end. Got a few offensive opportunities. Same with Puljujärvi. I thought Puljujärvi was all over the place. I thought he looked pretty good, generating a few offensive opportunities. He was around the net, setting up Nuge for a few opportunities, and getting himself a few chances as well. So I thought he looked pretty good. Hyman, Nuge, I thought both of them looked really good. Hyman, I thought looked really good on the PK. I thought he had a pretty good night. McDavid he had an all right night, not the best night for Connor McDavid, but for the fact that he did get a hattie. But there was, like, for the first period, he really didn't do too much. Like, there was a good bulk of the game where both McDavid and Draisaitl struggled to do anything 5-on-5 wise, and I'm mostly talking about 5-on-5 wise. Their power play, they were amazing. Power play, they were godlike, but 5-on-5 wise, McDavid and Draisaitl, I thought, had a really rough night, and I think that's definitely something that we need to work on is our 5-on-5 game, especially Evander Kane. I thought Evander Kane was absolutely dreadful last night. I really was not a big fan of Kane. Every time he touched the puck, he just could not handle it, or it messed it up, or every time he took a shot, he missed the net. So I thought Kane really did not have that great of a game. Shore wasn't bad. Malone, Holloway did not have great games. Defensively, CC was one of our better defensemen throughout the night. I thought he was going to do worse with more minutes, but he actually did quite well throughout the night. And honestly, I had really nothing to complain about CC. I thought he did good. He was battling up alongside the boards, battling all game, and I thought he didn't do that bad. Bouchard didn't do that bad, but I felt like he needs to play better defensively. I think that's a big thing with him and Bouchard, that Murray-Bouchard pairing, they didn't do the best defensively throughout the night. So I seen someone talk about how Kulak and Bouchard would be a really good pairing, and then Barry down in the top 6, because Barry is playing a lot of minutes right now. He played 19 minutes more than what Bouchard did, and I kind of agree. I would like to see Bouchard get a little bit more minutes than Barry, because I think Bouchard can handle it, but I think Bouchard did have kind of a rough game defensively. And then Barry Kulak, they didn't have the best, most amazing game. But Kulak didn't play that bad defensively throughout the night, I thought. But yeah, that is all the players. Jack Campbell played amazing, and that is game 1 for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, in the next game, I'm going to be going down to Edmonton, down to Rogers Place to watch the Edmonton Oilers go up against the Calgary Flames for the Battle of Alberta. So I get to go watch that game live. So there won't be any live stream or any OGR on Sunday because I'm going to be down in Edmonton. I will try to get one out on like Monday, Tuesday for the next OGR, just because I'm going to be adding some clips of me going down to Edmonton, so it's going to take a little bit longer to make that video, but I cannot wait to see you guys in the next OGR. For now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.